Let's talk about a really powerful idea from Zen Buddhism called beginner's mind. We're going to unpack this concept from Shunryu Suzuki's classic book, and I think you'll see how it offers a totally fresh way to look at your life, your work, and, well, everything.
Okay, so this quote, this is the heart of it all. It seems so simple, but there's a really radical truth packed in there. What Suzuki is telling us is that the very expertise we work so hard to get can actually become a cage. It can limit what we're able to see and experience. So our goal here is to figure out what it really means to cultivate this beginner's mind.
All right, so what exactly is this state of mind that Suzuki thinks is so important? I mean, why is it considered the entire goal of Zen practice? Let's break it down.
The Japanese word for this is shoshin, and it's not about literally being a beginner at something. It's more of a state of being. Shoshin means keeping your mind wide open, empty, and ready for whatever comes your way. You know, it's about not letting all your past experiences or what you think you know cloud what's happening right now. It's about seeing things with fresh eyes, every single time.
Now, check out this contrast. It really tells the whole story. The beginner's mind is rich and self-sufficient. It sees tons of possibilities because it has no thought of, oh, I've already achieved something. But the expert's mind, it becomes demanding. It starts judging, limiting, and it develops this kind of greed for achievement. And in doing that, it completely loses its connection to the vastness of the present moment.
So you might be thinking, okay, this all sounds pretty abstract, right? A mental exercise. But in Zen, this big idea is grounded in something incredibly physical, totally concrete. It all starts with the way you sit. It literally starts with your posture.
This is the Zazen posture, and believe me, every single element here is important. Your spine is straight, almost like you're holding up the sky. Your hands form what's called the cosmic mudra, a perfect oval. This posture isn't just about discipline, you see. It's a physical expression of a really deep truth. It's a way to feel, in your body, how your mind and body are truly one thing.
And this is the key insight. The posture isn't a tool to get you to some special state of mind later on. The posture is the purpose. When you sit correctly, you are already expressing your true original nature. You don't need to get anything else. You have it right here, right now.
So this leads us to one of the biggest paradoxes in Zen. If just having the posture is the goal, then what's the point of making an effort? How do we even try to do something without trying to achieve anything? Let's dig into that.
It's a really tricky question, isn't it? I mean, our brains are basically wired to work for something, for a reward, for an A+. To explain the Zen way of thinking about this, Suzuki tells a great story about 4 different kinds of horses.
Now, when we hear this, our first thought is probably, okay, I want to be that excellent horse. The one that's super responsive, gets it right away, perfect. We just assume the goal of practice is to become the best horse. But that's our expert mind, our gaining mind, doing the talking.
And here's where Zen flips the whole thing on its head. It turns out the worst horse, the one that really struggles, the one that only runs after the pain goes deep into its bones, that horse is actually the most valuable. Why? Because the person who finds practice difficult is often the one who develops the most sincere, the most determined mind to find the way. Their imperfections become the very foundation of a truly profound practice. This brings us to the next big idea. This whole practice of posture and effort without a goal, it starts to dissolve our normal way of seeing the world. You know, in pairs of opposites, like me versus you, or good versus bad. It helps us get beyond this idea of a separate self. Just think about your breath for a second. We always say, I am breathing, but Suzuki gives us a completely different way to see it. What we call I is just a swinging door. The air of the universe comes in, and the air of the universe goes out. The I doesn't do the breathing. It's just the hallway that this universal activity flows through. There's no you to say I. There's just the swinging door.
To make this even clearer, Suzuki uses this beautiful analogy of a waterfall. Imagine that before we're born, we're like the water in a river before it gets to the falls. We're all just part of one big whole, what he calls big mind, a total oneness, without any individual feeling. Then, when we're born, it's like the water going over the edge of the waterfall. That one river gets separated into countless individual drops, and this separation is what creates feeling, attachment, and all our difficulties. Each little drop has its own journey, its own struggle as it falls through the air. That's pretty much our experience of individual life and suffering.
But what happens when the drops hit the bottom? They all rejoin the river in the pool below. They go back to their original oneness, and they regain their perfect composure. This, Suzuki says, is nirvana. It's not some escape.
It's just a return to our true nature, where all that individual fear and struggle just dissolves back into the whole.
So, where does all this leave us? We've talked about beginner's mind, posture, effort, oneness, and it all comes together in one final and really crucial understanding.
This is maybe the most freeing idea of them all. We tend to chase enlightenment like it's some shiny trophy, some huge achievement that's going to make us special. But Suzuki says that after you get it, you realize it's nothing special at all. It's simply a return to who you've always been. It's just you, yourself.
You know, there's this famous Zen story where a master is asked why he's practicing Zazen, and he says, "I want to be a Buddha." So his teacher picks up a regular roof tile and just starts polishing it. The student is like, "What are you doing?" And the teacher says, "I'm making this tile into a jewel." And in that moment, boom, the student gets it. You can't polish a tile and make it a jewel. The point of practice isn't to turn yourself into something you're not. The purpose is just to practice. The purpose is just to polish the tile.
So, if enlightenment isn't some destination way off in the future that we have to reach, but it's actually present in the simple act of sitting and just expressing your own true nature, then it's always available to us. It exists right here in this very moment, which leaves only one question, really. What are you waiting for?